Hello farmers, welcome back to Griffin, Indiana, day 5 of fall. And we got some work to do in our field. We're going to be in our Deutz here, doing some soil sampling in our field. Now I should mention, this is another video where I got to do a voiceover because Windows did an update and screwed up all my recording systems. And yeah, found it out after I recorded the video. So anyways, here we are. We're looking, I'm kind of describing how Frank Jr. and Frank Sr. are doing some contracts. Frank Jr. is an Elise tractor and seed drill. He is seeding field number 16, which is a far field in that corner over there. He's seeding some oats. And Frank Sr. is in that cornfield over there. That contract finally came up. So he's over there harvesting. I think he will get done harvesting that field without me helping him. So he's just over there with the harvester. The Peterbilt and the trailer are not even over there. We'll see if he gets done harvesting the whole field with 150 to 120,000 liters is what you can hold in there. Anyways, we have leased the soil sampler for the field. I think it costs like $550. Better than buying it, which is like $17,000. You know, I guess if you got lots of cash on your farm, buying it for $17,000 and you're going to use it quite often and you don't care about spending the $17,000, fine. But when you're a money pincher like I am early on, I'd rather lease it for the $550 to get the soil sampling done in the field. So I want to get this field soil sampled today because, yeah, like I said, it's the 5th day of fall. Winter's approaching, and there's some things I want to do. So the reason why we're getting soil sampling done today, as soon as we can, is I decided this fall and early winter, because we got actually until the 2nd day of winter to get this done, is I want to plant wheat in this field this winter. And our field that we normally been harvesting, field number 1, I want to get some grass into it. So instead of leasing a drill to plant the grass this year, and then in the springtime getting another another drill to plant whatever crop I was going to plant in here, I decided we're going to go ahead and lease a drill for this fall and plant grass in the field up above and wheat in this field here, which we can do. So here I am trying to figure out, I got the mini map in the lower left hand corner, because when you do soil samples you need to see the size of the area that you're soil sampling. And I did a lot of overlapping here. I could definitely be more precise, not more precise, but more loosely on it, but I did a lot of overlapping here. So we're going to grab some soil samples because soil sampling with precision farming is going to make your yield much better. Now, getting back to the grass field up above, the reason why I want to plant that this fall is it's going to take at least a day for the grass to germinate, and I want it to grow just a little bit before winter gets here. I realize that the grass is probably going to reset to the first stage of growth once winter comes and spring arrives. Or at least when spring comes next year, the grass will have already germinated, and it can grow in as soon as it possibly can for us to get a good harvest in. And we're going to go over the grass a little bit later on this episode as well, because I was talking about the feed trough or the TMR mixer for the cows, and there was one a decent hint in there, and I'll go over that later on. But anyways, here we are in our new field number 30, that we just bought a little while ago. Was the last episode? Yeah, I think it was actually last episode, for just $780,000. So we need to get the soil sampling done so we know how much lime and fertilizer it's going to require for our crops. And while I was soil sampling, I decided to go over, because I watched a video from Silver News that came out, I don't know, a couple days ago, at least as I'm recording it. By the time you see it, it's probably been about a week. But he was talking about Farming Simulator 22 and the news that we kind of knew about. And the one thing I really just want to go over, because basically what he went over is a lot of stuff that it's like telling you a little bit of something but not enough. Something like, we know in Farming Simulator 22 he kept going over, well, there's new crops coming out, but they haven't announced what they are yet, so they keep saying we got new crops coming. Okay, that's good, we don't need to go over that. But the one thing a lot of people are getting kind of confused on, and this is why Giants keep publishing this, we do know that Farming Simulator 22 is going to have seasons, but in Farming Simulator 17 and here in 19, yes, we have the mod called Seasons that was made by Real Isthmus Modding. In Farming Simulator 22, Real Isthmus Modding, the modder of Seasons from 17 and 19, have nothing to do with what Seasons is in Farming Simulator 22. The seasons in Farming Simulator 22 is all through Giants. Realistic modding has nothing to do with it. It's its own entity in itself. But basically, I mean, I guess we can kind of expect probably some of the same thing, like, well, we're going to have 4 seasons, we're going to have the snow, so on and so forth. But it's going to be different. But we can, you know, we kind of, I guess, would expect that because from 17 to 19 in seasons, there was a difference as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how Giants take on seasons themselves and how they approach it. I'm pretty sure we're going to see some of the similarities a little bit here and there, but we're going to see some differences as well. So just to say, well, yeah, just remember, seasons in Farming Simulator 22 have nothing to do with the modders for seasons of 17 and 19. They have nothing to do with seasons in that. And the other thing he kind of brought up was, because he was talking about Lars, and Lars works for Giant Software, and Silver News does work for Giant Software in a way. He does some broadcasting of their tournaments that they have. And Lars was talking about there's something bigger in the game in Farming Simulator 22 that they have not announced yet, and he's more excited about that than seasons. And I was like, well, maybe he doesn't like seasons, but then Silver News kind of said that, well, he knows Lars well, and he loves the seasons mod. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what this other nugget that they haven't quite mentioned yet, that Lars seems to think is bigger than seasons. And just remember, Lars loves seasons. So, but the other thing I'm trying to remind myself is this, that sometimes some people are excited about some mods and other people look at it like they really don't care. There are a lot of people that don't even care about the seasons mod. They wish that's not even part of the game. And that's another thing I should bring up as well. Don't forget, Farming Seasons and Farming Simulator 22, that is an option you can have on or off. So don't worry if you don't like seasons. You don't have to play Farming Simulator 22 with seasons, but you can play with it on or off. So that brings up the point of, well, what Lars may think is a big golden nugget. A lot of us may look at it like, I really don't care about. Now, the one thing I'm kind of hoping for, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm kind of hoping we get a little bit of a snow runner into Farming Simulator Farming Simulator 22. What I'm talking about is the ground texture. So if you play Snow Runner, you know what I'm talking about. When you drive a vehicle, you know the weight the vehicle will leave ruts in dirt. If the ground is more wet, you're gonna leave more ruts. You can get stuck. Could Giants be bringing that to Farming Simulator 22? Now I'm just speculating here. I'm just throwing this out there. Could it be ground textures from when driving on the ground, to where your tractors are going to sink? All right, if it's raining out right now, we can go ahead in Farming Simulator 19. If it's raining out, you can work in the field all you want, except for harvesting. But yeah, we can seed, plow. Are you going to want to do that in Farming Simulator 22 if it's raining out and the ground gets awfully soft and you're out there with heavy equipment and you're sinking into the ground? Are you going to want to do that? So I'm just wondering if that's part of it. I don't know. But I kind of hope that's the way it's going to be. Although, if they bring that along, I hope that's another option that you can turn on or off, because I think that'll off-put a lot of people. If they've never played Snow Runner, just like Farming Simulator, to go out in the field and do what they want to do. Getting stuck a lot, yeah, they're not going to enjoy that too much. So if they bring that along, hopefully that's an option you can turn on or off. But I think me thinking that the ground texture is going to change, I think that's a big ask. Because nothing like that has really been brought to Farming Simulator as of yet. I mean, a couple people have dabbed into that mod, and it somewhat works, somewhat doesn't, but you never know. So who knows what Farming Simulator 22 is going to bring out, what the other big thing is. Hopefully we'll know here in the next couple of months. But anyways, let's get back to what we're doing here in our field. I got the HUD up, and I'm trying to see how many soil samples that we're taking. And I haven't done enough. I just did it on Wither Farms. I was trying to think, okay, so many soil samples, how much is this going to cost me to get these soil samples in? And I think originally I was guessing like $6,000, but I think it was after I got the field done, because I saw how many soil samples I got. But yeah, going around the field, it's not going to be too bad going around this field. I thought I was going to have to make a lot of trips around. Well, I say a lot of trips, like 2 headlands worth would get it done, but really I'm going to go around the field once, and I think one more pass I'm going to get it. But then I go around, because I left a few tiny spots in the field. We'll see that shortly. I left a few tiny spots in the field and it was driving me nuts. So we're going to go around and make sure this entire field has been soil sampled. The best way to check as well, as your soil sampling, I would just say put the mini map up like I have, the small mini map. Unless you like the big mini map up, but to me that's too big, so I like the smaller one. But every once in a while, you're going to see here shortly, I'm going to go ahead and get into the PDA of the field. And that definitely will give me a better perspective of what spots I have gotten and what spots I have missed. So yeah, the plan is for the rest of this season here in Griffin, Indiana, is just to get these fields set and reseeded. Like I said, field number 1 that we've been harvesting, the field that we had from day 1. I decided let's get the grass planted so when next spring comes and the warm weather comes, that grass can start growing. Although it looks like we're only going to get 1 cut of grass in per year no matter what I do. Just have to remind myself that the grass field that we put in this year, I didn't seed until the 2nd day of spring, maybe the 3rd day of spring. So that field got kind of a late start, and then it took an extra day for the grass to germinate. So yeah, we got that 1 cut in mid-summer, late summer, and the grass just isn't growing here in the fall. If it does happen to grow enough for me to cut it again this year, it's definitely not going to turn into hay, because we tried that last year and it didn't turn into hay. It just stayed as grass. So I shouldn't say grass, it stayed into dry grass. With seasons, we got 2 stages of grass. You got wet grass and dry grass, then of course you got hay. So it just stayed as dry grass, never turned to hay. So cutting in late fall in Griffin, Indiana on this geo, yeah, late fall, it's going to be kind of rough to get that to turn into hay. So, but anyways, getting back, I just want to get the grass planted in field number 1. And then I said, well, I got at least a drill for that anyway, so I might as well go ahead and plant the wheat in this field now instead of leasing a drill this year and early spring. Because by early spring, I don't think I'm going to have enough cash to buy our drill and seed tank. And I'm still arguing with myself during the episode as I'm recording and in between episodes I'm working in Griffin, Indiana. Do I want to spend the $600,000-$700,000 to get our planters, drills, and seed tanks for only 1 field? Because once the other grass field is planted, we're not going to replant grass over and over again. Grass is grass. So yeah, we'll just have this 1 field to plant, so is it worth having the drill and planter? I guess what it will save us as doing is when we do contracts, because I'm looking here in contracts right now. Oh, I'm checking the big PDA. I'm scrolling the map and seeing if did I miss anything in my field. As of right now, I have not. But yeah, doing contracts, we'll have our own drill and planter, so I'll have all spectrums of the grains and crops covered. And what we can plant, I don't have to lease anything. That's the upside. Plus, it'll be a big seed drill and planter. So any job we do, any contract we do, will not take long at all. So you can see we're just about done here doing soil sampling. I'm getting up there in soil samples, but it's not going to cost us that much. And the one thing I got to remind you, and I probably will, I mention it a little bit later here when I get done, because I almost made this mistake. It might have actually been on this map. I almost made a mistake where I leased the soil sampler, and I was done soil sampling, and I returned the soil sampler before I sent the soils off for sampling, for research. So just be careful about that. So here I'm checking the PDA, and I see 1 little spot on the field that I missed, and I actually saw another little spot. So at first I was like, it's not that big of a deal, it's just a tiny little spot. But I said, you know what, my OCD is going to kill me for the rest of this playthrough, that I missed these 2 little spots on the field. So I'm going to go ahead and, is this 2 more soil samples? Not that big of a deal. So I drill them on out, and pretty soon here, yeah, we'll send the soil samples off for research, and in no time at all, we'll have our samples back to us, and then we can figure out, definitely going to spread lime in the field, and then plant wheat, and then fertilize it as well, for sure. That way we get our yield up to whatever the possibility is. I forgot what soil samples came in. I want to say sandy loam and loam. But there we go. I'm checking the field. I think it looks all good. And now I'm probably going over to the point of, yeah, by the way, before you return your soil sampler, make sure you send the soils off for research, and I show it there. Yep, I did. Soil samples are off. And then, what am I doing here? Yeah, it says right there. The laboratory is analyzing. I forgot how many soil samples I sent in, and now I'm going to return our leased equipment so I don't forget about it and have to pay extra fees. And now we are all set with this field for the rest of the episode. We're not gonna spread lime in this field today or fertilize it. That'll be next episode. Because the other thing we're doing this episode is we got the cash, and I've been thinking about it for a while, and it's time to buy some more cattle. Making sure Frank is doing well over here. He's harvesting the field. He's almost done, and Frank Jr. is seeding that field. He is almost done as well. And I tell myself, I got time to go up and grab the animal trailer and buy some cattle. Now, the plan was, I wasn't quite sure how much I was going to buy for cattle. But long story short, the way it ended up being, I started doing some math. And we're going to buy 10 Holsteins and 10 Ayrshire, I think it's pronounced Ayrshire cattle. Now the Holsteins are the ones, they're, as it says in the mod, the Holsteins are the queen of dairy. They're the ones that produce you a lot of milk, but they require a lot of feed. As for the other, the Ayrshire cattle, they don't produce as much milk, but they don't also require as much feed. Now, I didn't want to just have all Holstein cattle in our barn, so that's why we've been kind of mixing it up. Well, not really mixing up, it's 50-50 is what we're doing when we're buying them. So as I came up here to get the animal trailer, we can see, well, Frank just called me on the radio and said, hey, our ideal 10T combine is full of corn. I got 120,000 liters here. I'm like, all right, I'll grab the Peterbilt and the trailer. I'll be down in a moment. Just double check and see what he's doing. Yep, teleporting to the Peterbilt. The Peterbilt is down here at field number 30, and the trailer, of course, is up by the silo. Now, part of me started thinking about, wow, yeah, having the silo up by the barn, by the farm now. Yeah, was that the best place for it? Not really, but since it's already there, it's going to stay there. The reason why I say that is because there's no fields up here that we're harvesting crop in. And I'm not putting hay, grass, silage, or anything else like that in the silo. So why have the silo up here? Well, the silo's up here because when we built the farm, the only land we owned was up here, so we plopped down the silo. I had to put the silo somewhere because when we did harvesting contracts, I had to store all the grain. You don't want to sell the grain when you harvest it because usually the grain doesn't sell for a good price, so you need a silo to put it here. But I decided, yeah, we're not going to move the silo, we're going to leave it here. It's not that big of a deal. That's why the truck has wheels and an engine. It moves. It can come up here and get the grain, and it's not that bad of a deal. So the soil sampling was done, so just under $6,000. Yeah, I think it said $5,700 for soil sampling. I didn't look quick enough. But yeah, so the soil samplings are in. Not that bad. So overall, for $6,000, we leased the equipment for soil sampling. And of course, we set soil samples off research. And now our field, if we take care of it good enough, will produce so much better than it would normally. So I'm starting to question, like, geez, if Frank got 120,000 liters of grain, corn off that field already, I wonder how much we're going to get extra off the field ourselves. And so 120,000 liters already? I started guessing maybe 20,000 liters we'll get off the field. Maybe. Is that possible? It all depends here on how much we, when we bring up to Country View Milling, is where we got to bring the corn. And that Country View Milling is actually over here by the field, so I don't have to go too far with it. We're going to find out here pretty shortly. Yeah, I'm pointing up there where Country View Milling is. And we're going to find out here shortly when we unload the combine and head on up and unload how much it says we have gotten done. One thing I do like about course play, when the combine gets full, they actually pull over now and give you room to pull up beside it to unload into it. Now, the one mistake I make once in a while with the 10T is I pull up the truck, and when the pipe unfolds, the cab of the truck is higher than the pipe itself, so it clips once in a while. And now I'm just trying to make it look better for when the combine is unloading into the trailer, that it's actually dumping into the trailer. You don't want any crop unloading on the ground. That's not good for anyone at all. All right, so right now I'm also checking the price of corn because I said we're gonna get some extra corn. I think it was like $2.90 something. So now I'm in the seasons mode, and I'm trying to see the corn prices. And look at, I mean, today is like the worst day to sell corn ever. And we can see the best price is up to almost $513. Now my guess that day was there was a great demand for corn that day. That's why I was selling for that much. But I decided, I mean, today is like the worst day I see on that map that the corn price has been that low. So we're getting enough corn left over to where we're going to go ahead and put it in the silo when the day's done. So we got our Peterbilt. Well, I shouldn't say Peterbilt. They don't actually call it a Peterbilt. The VSRTRK, whatever the heck it's called, truck. But it's a Peterbilt. Yeah, that's why I'm talking about the engine, to where, yeah, we got the smallest horsepower engine in this truck. And when you're hauling 120,000 liters, even on flat ground, it just, it goes, it gets the job done. But at some point here, we're going to have to upgrade that to the bigger engine to move around. But definitely, I think the upgrade's going to cost like 40 grand. But definitely, I can spend that 40 grand better in other places right now. So for now, the Peterbilt's going to have to struggle? Should I say struggle? It's going to have to get along with what it has. It does the job fine, just that I would like a little more get up and go when I take off. So now, like I'm saying, we're got to unload the corn, and like always when you unload for a contract, keep your eye in the upper right-hand corner, because they'll tell you when the contract's done by saying 100% complete or 100% transported. But if your money starts going up, that means you're selling crop. That's the crop you can keep. So if you don't want to sell it that day, you better be quick on the trigger. And I'm trying to figure out here, 120,000 liters, is that enough to complete the contract in field number 24, I think that is. Field number 24 is what we're harvesting, what Frank is harvesting. So I'm keeping my eye on it, and I look at the trailer, I'm thinking, at this point, I'm thinking, it's going to take a whole 120,000 liters of corn, isn't it? Still going. And yeah, it's going to take the whole trailer load. It says 90% complete. Like, all right, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Let's go back. Let's go park the truck and the trailer back over here by the field, and we're going to hop back into our Deutz-Fahr. The Deutz-Fahr is actually parked right now, right in the middle of Main Street. I decided to leave it there. I didn't care if I blocked traffic or not. But when Frank gets done, I definitely got to come back and get all this extra corn that he left here on the corners. Not that big of a deal. It's not going to take me too long with this combine harvester to go around the corners of the field and grab all the extra, because I want all the extra. No, I thought I left the Deutz-Fahr parked in the middle. Why? Oh, I know what I did. That doesn't happen yet. I'm going on down because I think I got time, and there we go. Contract on field 16 is finished. That's Frank Jr. seeding the field with barley. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll get to it later. But at this point, I decide, you know what? Halfway down the road here, and there's contract in field number 24 finished. So even though it said 90% complete on transportation, just by harvesting the extra, it completed the job. Now this is me in the combine going around and grabbing the extra corn on the corners of the field. And also this is where I say I did an idiot move. So there was a quick jump cut there, obviously, because we were in the Deutz-Fahr, and now we're in the 10T Fendt Combine. So you saw Frank Jr. was done seeding field number 16. I had more fields to seed. Now, what I did was, when Frank Jr. was done with 16, I got him over to field 17, and I started to send him off on his course, and I collected the contract in field 16. Some of you are going, yeah, I know what you did already. Yeah, the leased equipment I took to seed the fields, the tractor and the drill, were on field 16, so I completed the contract. They took the equipment back. So field 17 is not going to get seeded. So yes, it's an idiot move, but all is not wasted here. The reason being is, like I talked earlier, we want to seed our fields anyways. I have to lease a seed drill to do my own fields. So when I get done seeding my fields, or I may do it in between episodes, I may go ahead and seed the rest of the fields before we get to ours. You also may be saying, well, it's still a loss because I could have taken that equipment that I leased for the contracts and gone and seeded my own fields. You cannot do that in Farming Simulator. If you lease equipment for a contract, when you get on your own field, it won't let you use it on your own field. It says this equipment is for contract use only. So, yeah, a bone to head move there by completing the contract. But overall, it's not the worst thing. I still got at least a drill to plant our own field, so I'm just going to take that drill and then finish the other field I need to do, which is field 17. I completed the contract on field number 24 for harvesting because we are all done there. Yep, I'm showing that I got a field to fertilize and a couple fields to seed, but not the biggest loss in the world, like I said. So, what am I doing here? I'm jumping back to the Deutzfahr because I'm showing I stopped the Deutzfahr right in the middle of Main Street. But you know what? There's no cars waiting, so no one seemed to mind at all. Everyone seems just fine the way it was. So I'm going to continue my way on down to the livestock market. And like I said, we're going to buy 10 of each, 10 Holsteins and 10 Ayrshire cows. And go put them into our little barn. So right now we actually have 39 cattle. So we started off with our original 20. 19 have produced offspring. Now, the one thing I don't think I've talked about yet is why I'm buying these cattle. In between episodes, I kind of forgot, I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, we're buying females. Are all the offspring females? So right now we have 19 offspring. And right now, just to show you, our trailer can only hold 6 cattle. So 6 cattle at a time is what we're going to be taking. But 10 and 10 of each is what we're going to shoot for. Well, not shoot for, but that's what we're going to do. But out of the 19 offspring that we got so far, we've only had 1 male. 18 females, 1 male. Now, males on our farm, our dairy farm, don't need it. Don't run into the train peanut. Yeah, I almost didn't see it until the last second. That'd be kind of bad by 6 cows, and then 2 minutes out of the livestock market, you get hit by a freight train. Yeah, so here I go. I show 39 cattle, and I was like, I should have one more that's ready for offspring. Now, going through here, I can see I got a couple cattle now that are expecting offspring in 0.6 years. So some cows that gave me offspring this year going to give me offspring again next year. And I'm scrolling on down, but yeah, I was talking about 19 offspring, and right now I only got 1 male, 18 females. I have no idea how it's coded in the Seasons mod, but to get 18 females and only 1 male? Now, I know some people are going to say, but you need a male for the cows to reproduce. Well, technically, you don't, so we're just going on along with the fact that our cattle are being artificially seminated. That's the story, we're just going to stick to it, but you don't need a male bull running around to have offspring in Farming Simulator. I talked about that before, and yeah, here we are talking about it again, but so all males, yeah, we need to sell. Now, there's 2 ways that we can do it. We can sell the males right back to the livestock market, but our plan is to put down a meat production plant and bring the cattle there. So I think the good thing about the meat production plant is it doesn't matter how old the cow is and how much it weighs when I bring it to the meat production plant. Because I don't think the meat production plant is set up for Seasons mod and how much the animal weighs. I think the meat production plant is just going to see 1 cow is this many liters of meat, and they'll just produce it. If we bring the cattle, the male cows, back to the livestock market with Seasons running, I'll get paid for how much the cow weighs. So, yeah, so right now what we're going to do is we're just going to leave the male cow, that 1 male cow that we have, in our cow pasture, because 1, we can hold up to 2,000 cattle. We're only going to be, by the end of this episode, up to 59. So he's not taking up space that a female cow can take over. And 2, I don't want to sell him to the back to the livestock market because he's young. He doesn't weigh much. I'm not going to get much money for him anyways. And right here, I'm trying to find the trigger for the flipping animal trigger. And I'm like, oh, there we are. It's right in that. I was close, but not close enough. So just counting the cattle, make sure we get them all back in there. Make sure I hit confirm. And this one, I'm going to do another jump cut, I believe. Yep, because I said, no sense you watch me make all the trips back and forth. And here we are bringing the last 4 Ayrshire cattle back up to the farm. So the Holsteins are the black and whites, so the Ayrshire cattle are the brown and whites. And like I said, the Holsteins are the ones that, you know, produce a lot of milk, but they need a lot of feed. The Ayrshire cattle produce a little bit of milk, eat very, well, I say less feed, but they also can be used for meat production as well. So we're looking at here, 59 cattle. So now we have purchased 30 cattle. So is it no? We bought 40 cattle. Sorry, 20 to start with, and we just bought 10 of each today. So that's a total of 40. I think I originally said max amount of cattle I want to buy for the dairy farm is 200. I think I won't buy that many. I'm thinking maybe 100 max at this point. Now I'm coming over here, I'm like, boy, they don't have much water. I thought I filled them up with water this morning, but maybe I didn't. And then I realized, stupid, you just bought 20 more cattle. So, yeah, it looks like you're going to be low on the water. Now, here is where I'm going over, because we talked about the grass hay situation for our TMR mixer, because we're running seasons. I explained last episode, or the episode before that, we do hay because I got to make hay bales, or else it decomposes in the barn. And then someone says, if I really wanted to get by it, and I think it would work, and I agree with them, is if I were to cut the grass here and it does not turn over, I can take grass off the field and put it into the TMR mixer. And once the grass is in the TMR mixer, I don't think the grass will decompose once it's inside the mixer. But any leftover grass I have left over, it's because the mixer only holds 120,000 liters, any grass we got left over will decompose rather quickly, especially if it snows or rains. So we're going to keep on continuing just making hay for the TMR mixer and go that route. But yeah, if you really wanted to cut grass and just pick up some extra grass while you're waiting for the grass to dry, I'm pretty sure if you fill off that TMR mixer with seasons on, the grass inside the TMR mixer won't decompose. At least I don't think so. I don't think so, but who's to say it will or will not? But we're gonna, as for us, what we're gonna do here in Griffin, Indiana, on this Let's Play for the challenge is we're gonna make hay, and hay only. If we do get a cut in late fall and we cut the grass, we'll probably swath it and pick it up to make silage. That's probably what we're gonna do. So right now I'm hooking up the Deutz-Fahr up to the spreader, because next episode we're going to be, obviously, the field we just did soil sampling in, I need to put some lime down into it. So that'll be step one. And also what I'm going to do is, not only am I going to put lime down in field number 30, and I'm checking over, yep, sandy loam and just regular loam. What does that mean to me? Not much. I'm not is it a geologist? I think so. So right now I'm looking at the pH level, which is for lime spreading, and it's not even in the red. It's like maybe 40% where it should be. And look at the nitrogen level after harvesting. It's still pretty decent. I mean, there's a couple spots there you can see to where it's total crap. And I'm not sure why it's like that, but you look at the fields after we harvest them, that's what the nitrogen level probably should look like. So the grass fields, I'm probably going to spread some lime, well, not grass field, like field number 1, I'm going to put some lime down in that, and then we'll plant grass into it. Field number 30, we'll also put lime down as well, to make sure that's all topped off. And then we'll seed the fields and then fertilize it as needed. But yeah, the Deutz-Fahr is hooked up to the spreader. I got to empty out the fertilizer that's in it and fill it up with some lime. And now I'm trying to click on the Peterbilt truck and trailer because I want to bring that crop back. I'm like, why won't that work? And it won't work if you're in precision farming on the PDA precision farm. You got to go to the regular PDA to hop to a vehicle. So overall, not too bad. Just shy of 18,000 liters of corn that we get to keep. Now, if we go by what Season said early on, the best price we saw for corn was like $500. So we got about $9,000 worth of corn off the field if I sell it for the peak price, which is not too bad. So we got $11,000 for harvesting the field, and we got like $9,000 worth of corn off the field as well. But we're going to bring this back to our silo, dump it in, because I'm not selling it today because the price is lower than the submarine hugging the bottom of the oceanic trench. It doesn't get much lower than what it is right now. So we're going to bring it back to our silo and dump it into there. So yeah, next episode we're going to be looking at getting the fields planted and finishing up some contracts. And then I'm going to say we're pretty much done. I'll probably get some fertilizing contracts in the field that we have seeded for other farmers. But as for contracts overall, we're pretty much done for this season. And so the only thing we got left to do this season is, like I said, we're going to do 1 day for winter. And it all depends on what day the crop is selling good on. So, oh yeah, I hit the road sign here. This is where I said the town highway department of Griffin, Indiana is pretty good, because every time I come back, all the road signs are back up. So they replace all the road signs I knocked down. They're pretty good on that. But yes, one episode in winter to where we're just going to go ahead and sell the grain when it's a good price. And we'll take care of the cattle by filling up the TMR mixer with hay, straw, and silage. So pulling on up into here to our lovely little silo. I may put a digital display out here. Not that I really need it, but this look better. And really, we're talking like a $9,000 display. Yeah, that's what the corn we just got that field is going to be worth, right? That corn's worth $9,000. It'll cost me $9,000 to put it to display. I mean, it's just nice to look over there and see how much crop you got of each while I haven't gone to the PDA. This is more official. So over here, I'm showing all the equipment we had over here has been moved down to the lower shed and by field number 30. That's a tedder windrower. Now, I know the tedder will fit underneath the shed. The windrower is kind of long, but after I came walking over to the shed, I realized the shed is deeper than what I think it is. So I think the windrower will fit in there just fine. At least I hope it will. It should. Not much of a problem. And like I said, for the most part, I think the trailer for grain will be left up here, because either I'm dumping grain into the silo or I'm removing it from the silo. The only time I'll probably leave the trailer down below in that shed is if I'm doing harvesting and I know I'm going to need it and I'm down there and it's empty, then I'm just going to leave it down there. But for the most part, the trailer will be parked up here underneath the roof, even though that roof is this silo is from Missy B, and it's not season's ready as far as I can tell, because last winter the snow went right to the roof and loaded into the trailer. And I'm looking at the pond saying, I wish my pond had fish into it, so when you got some time in the afternoon, you can just take out a fishing rod and do a little bit of fishing for like a half hour or so. That's kind of a small pond, but you know what? You know, a farmer can dream anyways. But anyways, that is going to do it for today, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the episode. I do appreciate you watching as always. I'll catch you again right here in Farming Simulator 19 in Griffin, Indiana. But until then, have a good one.